Hello, welcome. Sorry about the sound. Welcome to building the Milton Valley Railroad again. We're making good progress so far. I hope that we'll continue to make the same amount of progress over the next few years of working on it. No, I don't expect it will take that long. We've only got like 3 places to tie up, one of which is almost done. So yeah, the mountain one, the last mountain branch, which is what we're currently working on, is almost finished. Then we've got the city bit, a couple stations in the terminus, and then the branch going off in the broad valley, just at the foot of the mountains. So those 3 things, one of which is almost tied up already. So that's good. Hello, Kango Fango, welcome. Who's going to be joining me this evening? Well, hopefully you, and hopefully also a few other people in chat. Also, here's your reminder that you wanted to show something today. Yes, I've already got that prepared. So let me switch over. Here we are. And this is actually something that someone's done a while ago. Because of the face cam? Oh, because of the face cam, I see. That's... Hold on, one moment. Is that right? That should have turned it off, yes? Yes, good. I didn't see that. So yeah, a little while ago, someone on the Trainz forums contacted me and showed me that they had repainted some assets with an MVR, Milton Valley Railroad, livery that they had come up with. And I did download the stuff, but at that time, I wanted to finish the area that we were working on, and then there was a gap of where I didn't do any Trainz stuff because of technical issues and other stuff, and then I did the other live stream, and I've only just now gotten around to it. So let's start with that. I've already got the thing in. If you want to have a look at them, you can go to the download station and search for either Milton Valley or MVR. Author is Gramma, so Gramma. And yes, let's just have a look at some of these. You can see how many they made. And I do think that they look good. The colors aren't exactly what I had imagined. And I will definitely be making my own reskins as well when the time comes. So when I get to making my own sessions and things like that. Hello, Can Gaming, welcome. Miki, hello. If you prefer me to pronounce that differently, please do let me know. So yes, like I was saying, when the time comes, I know that probably doesn't go that way around, but anyway, when the time comes, I will make my own reskins in the color palette that I had imagined, which is, well, I haven't decided yet. But they've just made so many assets. And I think that these would be great for testing around and driving during the building process. And maybe, who knows, maybe I'll play some of them in some of the sessions as well. Maybe this could be like an old livery, because you know how different companies go through different livery designs as time goes on. Maybe this could be like an older design or something like that. Because just looking at this, this is an F7. Yes, looking at this F7 in this kind of dark maroon red with the red stripe and below and the white above, that just looks really nice, doesn't it? Hello, Willis1961. So have you decided on the official colors of the MVR? Not yet. I'm still sticking with my original plan, which is when the time comes to actually make sessions for this, so when the route is finished, then I'll make several designs and test them out on a few locomotives, and then and then pick the one or ones that I like the most. So yes, I don't really care how you say my name. Okay, then I'll say Miki. Right, but yeah, I do like some of these, and it's not just diesels that they've made. Hold on, if I can. They've also made coaches, as you can see, with observation things and things like that. They've also reskinned steamers. Admittedly, the kind of red paint. Does remind me a little bit of the, what was it, the LMS. LMS colors. But it does also look a little like Pennsylvania Railroad. Like, for example, this. I could definitely see myself using this on the route, because this kind of dirty red with a yellow text on it does look very nice, I think. Even if the coal is slightly floating. I'll just have to change the coal height for that to not be floating. And there are so many assets. Like, if you just looking at these, hold on, I'll scroll down for some other ones. Look at all these. Ah, that also looks very nice. Yeah, I'm really quite impressed with these. Yeah, and a bit of an older design as well on these ones. There are also... I found these tenders, but I'm not entirely sure what... like, is it supposed to go like that? So it's the black loco with the red tender? Because like with this, with the plate on the side, it does, I think, fit quite well. That probably is how it's designed. It's just, in the UK, usually the color of the tender is the same as the color of the loco, like of the boiler. But I have seen it a different way as well, with some American locos and things like that. Yeah, that's definitely how it's supposed to be. That must have taken ages to repaint all these locos. So yes, thank you very much for doing this. And when we go around driving, might use some of those, or maybe even in some sessions when we get to that. So thank you. Now, right, will you have different liveries for freight and passenger services? Service? I don't know. I've not thought that much about it at all. At the moment I've just got some colors that I think will work great together. If I'm going to separate it depending on what type of service it is, I don't know, maybe. Actually thinking about it, that would actually be quite nice. Bro, my train is going downhill. It's a Santa Fe Blue Goose. Ah, very nice. I saw pictures of that. Yes, that all sounds like something I could do perhaps. Right, so let's get to working on this. Last time we put down houses and I built this back here, and I realized that the game is a little bit more stuttery than usual. I wonder why. Maybe I should have restarted the computer before this. Who knows? Shardus, did you see Will's last message? That would be nice. Videos on how to reskin a loco. Oh, yes. I think, yeah, that is something that Kango can probably do a bit better, because he's done reskins for Trainz. I've yet to do any. So, yes. And Kango's quite good at explaining stuff as well. Okay, so, last time. Did a little bit of work over here, put down houses, and we terraformed this side over here. So what I want to do today is terraform, well, extend the baseboards a little bit that way, so we don't just have this edge. And then, yeah, terraform this, and if there's more time, maybe do a little bit of field work back there, so that we can actually do the last finishing touches of this area. So how many baseboards do you think we'll need? I think one more there, or is that enough? Because I don't... Actually, that should be fine, because this is the kind of the pattern that we've got going on. Maybe I could write you a script. Sounds like you have been volunteered, Kango. It does sound a bit like it, doesn't it? So do we think one baseboard is enough? If I go over here, kind of look back that way, If it is only one baseboard, okay. So which way do I want the river to go? Because we've already got the river going up there. We've got a river going this way. So this river turning. Well, I guess we could make the river turn south. That might actually work quite well. Because I have to make a turn. Either turn north or south. Because if I just keep going in that direction, so that would be east, then you can just look along it. And that's... I want to block the field of view so that it looks like there's actually more scenery there than there is. So I think I'm going to make it turn south. So if I am going to make it turn south like that, then... well, then I would need to put a baseboard there probably, and then I would have to extend it. So maybe not south, maybe north? Because I also need to figure out where this line should continue. Or perhaps I could just have it go northeast. So maybe if I added... Tell you what, let's just set the height correctly, and then... Hold on, is that flat? No, that isn't flat. Yeah, set that correctly, and then I'll check and see what it would look like if I made the river curve north. Maybe in the future, but I will be uploading my first ever video onto YouTube, to my YouTube channel very soon. Likely later today or tomorrow. Ooh, very exciting. Okay, now time to tediously replace the texture. Yes, it was so much easier having the button just down here, but they've had to replace it, they've had to move it, so I'll subscribe if you do. Ah, crisscross, eh? Crisscross, If you get the reference, then congratulations. Okay, so now that I've got this area here, I can copy paste it and it'll go quicker. I know the reference. Good. Would you like to... yeah, that's it. Wasn't the film called was it called Strangers on a Train? Or was that a different one? No, it wasn't. It was something about with a train. By Alfred Hitchcock. Right? Yeah. Kango's next video series, reskinning the MVR, Episode 1, Steam Locos and Tenders, Episode 2, Diesel Loco Cab Units, Episode 3, Diesel Loco Hood Units, Episode 4, Cabbies. Cabbies? Is that the plural of caboose? Caboose, cabbies. Episode 5, Passenger Cars, Episode 6, Freight Cars. Alfred Hitchcock, didn't film feature Danny DeVito? No, not that film, I meant the original film. Not the... No. The one with Danny DeVito was the one that took that film, the Hitchcock film, as inspiration. So if you remember, they were watching the film on the TV with the crisscross. Yeah, crisscross, and that's how he got it in that film. But no, I mean the original, the Hitchcock film. Hold on, I'll quickly look it up. It was Strangers on a Train. Here, Strangers on a Train. A psychopath forces a tennis star to comply with his theory that two strangers can get away with murder. Yeah, two strangers can get away with murder, which is the crisscross. Like, I murder your target, and you murder my target. That was the idea of the film. And so we will see the crisscross. So there you go, Strangers on a Train. A great film, I can highly recommend it. Black and white, but that really shouldn't detract from it. Shadows. Oh, right. I had forgotten that. SP GS4. Southern Pacific GS4. What do you mean? Okay, so let's just. I'll quickly vaguely paint in the course that the river could take. In the trailer that played. Oh, wait, wasn't that Charlie X? Was it? I mean, I suppose theoretically it could be the same actor, but do you want me to quickly check? Hold on, I'll quickly check. One moment. Actually, let's see. Charlie Evans, Robert J. Walker. Robert Walker Jr. Robert Walker Jr. I mean, not J. Walker. Let's see. He did Heaven's War. Oh, he was active in 2018. He made a film in 2018. Huh. Murder, She Wrote? Hold on. Nope. He wasn't in it. But I can see the resemblance. He actually was in a lot of stuff. Interesting. Anyway. Yeah, I searched for strangers. And who knew? I couldn't find them. Everybody I found, I knew. I couldn't find a single stranger. How strange. Huh. Okay, well, if I make the river kind of go in maybe sort of this direction, like that, and then maybe go around this way. Hello, welcome VGR, Eliza. How are you? Man, can't hang out streaming some Arma 6 right now. Oh, I see. Well, hope you're having fun. Okay, so would that be good? Or can you... Yeah, see, that wouldn't really be good like that, because then you can clearly see straight down that valley. So maybe if the river did actually just turn, well, either completely north, or if it just meanders a bit. Like if I add 2 further baseballs like that, and then have the river go south from there, that could work. Just waiting for all this quad stop on. Okay. Anyway, later. Bye-bye. Thanks for dropping in. Yeah. Okay. I think that is probably going to be best. So let's see, if I make the river go a bit more that direction, then curve this way, and just kind of go off in this direction like that. So it's kind of doing that sort of a shape. Actually, hold on. Just quickly replace that. Maybe if it went a little bit further west. Maybe something more like that. That looks a bit better, I think. Oh wait, is it still... Oh, it's still painting. Yeah, sometimes it doesn't quite release when I release the button. I think that could work, because then if you're over here and looking down that way, you'll just see a hill over here. And I don't even have to do landscaping back there, because it'll be behind the hill. But you can just see that way, and then that'll work. So let's do that now. Let's do the terraforming. Okay, so the ridge needs to follow the middle of this loop to about there, I'd say. Let's see what sort of a slope we get if I make this flatten out to meet the river, like that. So, alright, maybe roughen up the shape of the river a bit so it's a bit more jagged. I don't know. Maybe it's quite a rough thing at the moment, just so that I know vaguely how I want the terrain to be shaped. It's not supposed to actually stay like that, because again, these are also 10-meter baseboards still, and I'm gonna only do the painting in when I update them to 5-meter. Gonna be interesting to see how the road continues through this. I ran out of water on the Blue Goose because of the gradient. Oh, I see. Did you have to dump the fire, or did the boiler explode? Well, did it explode into the firebox, basically? Yeah, did the boiler explode? That is the right term, because of the flash. Because when the crown plate or crown sheet melts, and the pressure gets evacuated into the cab, then that lowers the pressure in the boiler, and the lower pressure means that the liquid water, which is already much higher, much further above the boiling point of water normally, which is actually being kept at a liquid state because of the high pressure, suddenly doesn't have the pressure, and so flash boils and turns into vapor, which then causes an explosion. Alright, is that Trainz or in Transmitter? Trainz 220. Alright. So then that probably doesn't have that drastic consequences if it's in Trainz and not Train Simulator. I'll just quickly do this bit here. And then I'll see what it looks like from our town. That should be good enough for now. Yeah, I will make the slope behind this bit, because you can kind of see the jaggediness of the sharp edge. But I think that looks good. I actually been in a cab of the train. It was a switcher diesel. Ooh, very nice. Was the loco driving? Like, was it in motion when you were in the cab, or was it stationary? Okay. Might as well do this bit back here as well. No wonder he looked like Charlie X. It was Robert Walker Sr., his father. Really? Did you check? Is that true, or is that a joke? Like, is that actually true? It was moving. Nice, but is that actually true? Yes. Well, Good. You've got a good eye for this. That is impressive. Like his dad was in Strangers on a Train, and he went on the child went on Star Trek. Interesting. Robert Hudson Walker, October 13th, 1918, August 28th, 1951. Was an American actor who starred as the villain in Alfred Hitchcock's thriller Strangers on a Train, 1951. Ooh, the year he died. Which released shortly before his early demise. Ooh. I see. That is very interesting. Thank you for looking into this. Walker's and Jennifer Jones' son, Robert Walker Jr., born in 1940, later became a successful movie actor. Ah. Yeah. Feels like a smaller world. The world of acting. Okay, so I'm just going to make this line just continue along the valley. And then we'll have a portal back here somewhere. Thanks for the info. And also, goodbye. Goodbye? No, sorry. Oh, good eye. Yes, sorry, I didn't see that properly. But yes, definitely. Also, well, it's 1961. I watched a little bit of gameplay of a Star Trek video game. I think it was Birth of the Federation. It's a Space 4X game, like an old one. And I noticed a really quite grave error, which I suppose makes sense because I think this may only have been established later. I don't know when this was established, but in that they had the Earth as an M-class planet. And they had Vulcan as a different, maybe it was a Y or a J or something like that. A desert type world, which is ironic considering that in Star Trek the M stands for Menshara, which is the Vulcans' word for their homeworld, for Vulcan. So I don't know if that just hadn't been established yet when the game was made, or if they just made a mistake. But it is something that I noticed. Because that sort of thing, Memory Alpha is great for in-universe stuff, but out-of-universe things, like, for example, when certain things were first used or established or things like that, isn't really that useful. Let me quickly look it up. Because I know that the Menshara thing was used in... hold on. Was used in Star Trek Enterprise, but I don't know if it was established before that. The game was made in 1999. The same year that the moon vanished, if I recall correctly. There were some massive explosions on some nuclear dump sites, and then the moon just kind of went off on a very fast trajectory. And they also used the Enterprise C sprite for the Enterprise D, right? No, that was a different game. Different game. I don't follow Star Trek, so I don't know. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you'll have to apologize. Well, not you. You'll have to accept that. I do tend to talk about Star Trek and Doctor Who quite a bit on these streams. I don't know, do I actually want this to go that far out? Maybe I should. Actually, yeah, that'll work. I'll readjust the terraforming to fit with the tracks. So I'll just put the tracks in how I want, and then we'll go from there. Okay, and this should definitely be okay. So this is actually a little bit more. There we go. Now this is definitely out of sight from the town. So if I just quickly grab a portal from over here. Hold on, where? Back here, yes. Grab a portal from back here. Then I can place that down over here. I need to flatten the terrain to that height. That is 279.17. 279.17. And just flatten it like that, so that I can then connect this properly. The term Class M was first used in The Cage to describe the planet Talos 4. The Vulcan term Manchara class, first used in Enterprise Strange New World, was used in Enterprise to denote planets that in other series would have been called Class M by the writers. The implied consequence being that the two terms meant the same, possibly even that M stood for Manchara. That is very insightful, because in that case, they didn't make a mistake, because it hadn't been established yet. Where did you get that information from, by the way? What is your source? The portals have been proven to be completely safe. The device, however, has not. I see. We've not heard a single complaint from anyone who's used our portals. That's classified. Oh, I see. Does that mean you got it from the secret historical vaults of Section 31? Which, by the way, Section 31 seems like such a big thing in Star Trek, like that's such a large part of it. But that wasn't even established until Deep Space Nine. It is from Section... I see. Ayak. Ayak? What is an Ayak? Yes, I hacked Memory Alpha and got into the secret Section 31 database. I see. Good. Well done. But the real question is, did you have to use technobabble to do it? Sounds a bit like a mammal. Congratulations! Congratulations. Yeah, I prefer this curve like that. bit more gradual. Actually, I wanted to paint underneath it, but I've not upgraded them to 5 meter yet. And I want to do the terraforming first. So I'll do the terraforming first, and then I'll paint underneath it to be able to better, more easily see what they look like. Okay, I think this will look quite nice. I don't really want to put too high of a peak here, because then it just looks like I'm filling out the corners of the map, which again then draws attention to the corners of the map, which I don't want. Also, I should probably save. Okay, so actually that needs to be a little bit smoother here. One moment. I really do need to bring this over a little bit more like that, because it's just a bit too low back there. Still need to smoothen that a little bit out over here. And yeah, I'm quite happy with that. That looks quite nice. Although this hill should now be a little taller, because at the moment it looks like it's around the same height as the other one, and because it's closer to create a bit of a stronger sense of depth, I should make it a bit higher, a bit taller. I'm going to North Conway, New Hampshire, which I'm going on the 5-hour ride, and it's going to be my second time there, which it's double heading 2X main central trains. Ah, nice. Is the North Conway, New Hampshire, is that the Conway Scenic Railroad, which Anthony Saracen 2's talked about, or is that a different thing? That looks good, but now there's a little bit of a dip here, so I've got to extend this a bit. I mean, it'll look good. It'll look better when I put forest on it, but ooh, actually I do really quite like that. It looks like a sort of gradual slope upwards to the point there. Yes, that looks quite nice. Right, so I'll save, then I'll upgrade the baseboards to 5 meter, and then I'll paint underneath the tracks so that I can see them from a distance. There we go. I just need to quickly go over some of these little bits here just to kind of make it stitch itself together. Okay. Hold on, one moment. Yeah, it's a Conway Scenic. Ah, very nice. Quote, look at you soaring through the air majestically, like an eagle, piloting a blimp. Yeah. But was it a European, African, or Slovakian eagle? That's the question. Ahem. That's not supposed to look like that. There we go. So, Class M is from 1964 and Manchara is from 2001. Yes. According to that information, that is correct. So, yeah, the designers of the game didn't mess up after all. Which, actually, the idea that maybe it hadn't been defined as coming from Manchara, or Manchara as a whole, that maybe that hadn't been defined yet, only came to be while live streaming just now. Because before that, that didn't even occur to me, because it seems like such a core part of Star Trek. But then when you think about it, actually, that is a quite recent addition. Okay, so now that I've painted that in, I can see what it looks like from over here. I can see where the tracks are from over here. Yeah, like that. Nice. Oh, nice. One of that railroad workers did come to quite a few of these streams too. Yes. Mm-hmm. Okay, so I'll paint over the river. Not the whole bit, just over on the new baseboards. And I'll do that first. What was the name of that game? It was... I think it was... Hold on. I want to get the full title. Oh, I thought I'd switched. The name of the game is Star Trek: The Next Generation, Birth of the Federation. Okay, so I think I'll actually do the river next. I must have missed that one. I don't remember it. Yeah, although nowadays, if you want to play a Star Trek themed space 4X game, like a strategy like 4X, which comes from Masters of Orion. Let's see what they stand for. They stand for explore, exploit, exterminate, and expand. Those 4 X's. Not sure which way around they go. Then a good one is Stellaris, with either the New Horizons or New Civilizations mod, which completely overhauls it, makes it Star Trek. The only Star Trek game I've really played was Star Trek Bridge Commander. Yes, and that was great fun with multiplayer. I know Good Old Games has that, but I've not got that at the moment, because I did have the disc. Was it CD or DVD? DVD? Probably CD back then. I did have that many years ago, but I think I sold it. But yeah, Good Old Games version is supposed to work. But yeah, doing Stellaris on stream with Kango multiplayer, that could also be a lot of fun. But I've not really played enough of that to really be able to properly play it. Although I suppose maybe part of the fun could be trying to figure stuff out, making lots of mistakes and then slowly getting better at the game over time. I played a lot of Star Trek Starfleet Command, which was based on a tabletop game, Starfleet Battles. Oh, I have heard of the tabletop game. Would be nice if they put Star Trek Bridge Commander onto Steam. I mean, if it worked. Neither have I. How about Starmade multiplayer streams? I don't know, maybe. Maybe. Played a lot of Starfleet Battles in high school. When I was preparing stuff for my other Starfleet role-playing game that I was running, I did look into the Starfleet Battles system to see how they did the strategy aspect of Starfleet and of Star Trek. And I actually found it quite interesting how they did with the different movement and facings, and wasn't it also that you had power that you could assign to different systems, and if the ship was hit, then you rolled randomly for which tiles got crossed out, or things like that, like which systems, and it was actually quite in depth. Which, I mean, I never got to apply any of that to the system because it just wouldn't fit because of the rest of the rules of the game, but it was quite interesting from a design perspective, I found. I haven't thought about that myself until now. But yeah, I do think that a little bit of Stellaris and or Bridge Commander could be quite nice. Because I remember Bridge Commander had a mod called Star Charts, which basically gave you so many maps in the galaxy, like so many systems in a galaxy that you could warp between it was in real time, but not on a one-to-one scale, of course. And then you could enter the systems and do stuff there. You could scan and do other things. But yeah, back, sure. But yeah, Trainz, they did many updates to Starmade since we've last played. Yes, I know. So it'd be basically learning the whole game again to play that properly. Could be fun. Yeah, I think it could be fun. Okay, I'll paint under the road as well, so that I can see it from a distance, even though I'll probably have to redo some of this when I put in the forest, because I'll probably copy-paste over some of it. But just so I can see what it actually looks like when viewed from a distance, when the splines aren't actually loaded in because of my render distance. It was a fun game to play. We would have a dozen people playing and would have 6-on-6 fleet battles. Klingon versus Romulan versus Federation, or three-way 4 versus 4 versus 4 battles like Federation versus Gorn. Xinti. Who were they? But yeah, I mean, I found the rules interesting, but I'm not really into battling games like that. Like with the role-playing system, of course, combat is a part of it, and in that context, I'm okay with it if it's used properly. But just a flat-out battling game like that, I don't think I would find fun to play. But it was quite interesting what I saw of it and the way it was written, things like that. And one thing that I did found quite interesting is that they had the different Gorn ships in that as well, because from a modern perspective, the Gorn are pretty much a very minor power. Like, yes, in Star Trek Online, they're a part of the Klingon Empire, I think. But in canon, I think they only appeared in that one episode of the original series, and then in one episode of Star Trek Enterprise, I think. Like, we're in the mirror universe with the other Defiant, I think. I think there was a Gorn. But to see that in one of those, in an older game like that, to have the Gorn as one of those powers, one of those major powers, is quite interesting. Because if you think about it, in that episode, Arena was its name. The Enterprise responds to that distress call from the colony. I think it was a distress call. They beam down, find everything's been bombed, is still being bombed, I think. And then they find out, oh, there's we're in the Gorn space and things like that, and they find out that actually the Gorn had a prior claim to the system and things like that, and that the Gorn are actually a power which, at least in the show, is presented to be on par with the Federation, at least technology-wise. And so it makes sense to have that as one of those powers in a game like that, especially if it's made in a time where the options aren't as numerous to choose from. Also, I think that I watched a video recently by someone who analyzed some of the episodes, including Arena, and he said that, I think that this is correct, actually, you should double check it, but I think that this is correct. I think he said that originally, in the script, Kirk was supposed to win the fight and kill the Gorn and be victorious. And that Gene Roddenberry was the one who said, no, that doesn't fit, and that has to be changed, and who rewrote it so that Kirk shows mercy and doesn't kill the Gorn, and instead the episode turns out how it does, which I haven't confirmed myself, but does seem like a reliable source. So that is quite interesting, because that's the whole point of the episode, the way it is now. What were those guys called? Like the angel-like people who forced Kirk to fight, got the Gorn. Were they called the Metrons? I think that from Jerry Anderson, some of them are also called the Metrons. Weren't they from Captain Scarlet called the Metrons? Anyway. Wait, they are? Just how canon is Star Trek Online? It isn't canon. However, they do have the license for the stuff, and some of Star Trek Online's designs were slightly modified, but they were used in Star Trek Picard. Some of the ship designs for that huge fleet of starships at the end of season 2. It was season 2, right? Or was it season 1? No, I haven't seen season 2. It was season 1. I'm confusing it with Discovery, sorry. At the end of season 1 of Picard, I haven't seen season 2. So that is kind of canon, some of those designs now. And I think that some of the writers also came back to Star Trek Online. I'm not sure if it were the writers, but I know some of the actors, quite a lot of the actors actually come back to Star Trek Online to reprise their roles, including Mulgrew and what was the name? The man who played Chekhov. So Janeway came back, Chekhov, 7 of 9, Harry Kim. I think the Daniels guy also came back. Quite a few others as well. Walter Koenig, yes. What was the other one? I think maybe the Doctor as well, although I could be misremembering that. I don't know. Tuvok came back. Neelix, yes. So a lot of actors came back to reprise their roles in that game, in those missions, in those stories. But it isn't strictly speaking canon. Alright, I missed that one above on stream. Alright, we're at the part store. Now, let's see here. Advanced shield modulator, unit relay B. What do these do again? I have no idea what you mean by that. Oh, you're right, you mean because of the learning as we're going. Yes, that makes sense. That would be funny. Although with something like Stellaris, I think that could be quite a lot of fun because of how complex that game is. Especially when both players, or all the players, aren't really used to it. Original game had Federation, Klingons, Romulans, Xintis, Gorns, Tholians, and Orion pirates. Were the Tholians as overpowered as they are in the show? Maybe put a Jib Old sign on the peak of that mountain that says Grizzly Peak. Right. DJB. I don't know. Maybe. Alright, that's interesting. Later modules added more racer ships. Alright. Mysterons? Oh, Mysterons. Yes, Metrons and Mysterons. They sound similar. You forgot one message, right? What can I... Yes, Starmate. Out of all the varied ships they have in STO, I always end up going back to my 2S Constitution class ship. I haven't played that game myself, but I think that if I were to, I would... I don't know what the stats would be like, but I think I would probably end up with a Connie refit. Either that or an Excelsior, I would say. Because the thing is, even though the Galaxy class, for example, looks great, it's a great design, there are quite a lot of angles that if you look at it from, it just looks a little weird. It looks a little clumsy or odd. But if you look at the Constitution class, you can basically look at it from any angle and it'll look good. And the same is true for the Excelsior in large. I can see why. Although I do wish we had seen more of the Daedalus in Star Trek in general. You mean more than a model on Cisco's desk? Connie, never heard that nickname before. Oh, it's quite common. Why clumsy? I don't know. Like in the show and in the films, they don't show those angles of the of the Galaxy class of the Enterprise, because it doesn't make the ship look good. But with 3D models and things like that, there are certainly angles that, I don't know, make it look a bit weird. I think the Galaxy class Enterprise D is the ugliest of the Enterprises. I see. Why? Or is it just a thing that you feel and you can't really explain it? Or maybe it's going back to the angles that you can see it from. Hold on, maybe I can find a 3D model. One moment. That's not the right thing. No, that's fine. That's fine. I can find it, I think. Just looking on Sketchfab if I can find some stuff. Hold on, maybe if I look for this might be a good, if I can rotate it in here. There we go. It just looked short and fat. I think it would have looked better if they had rotated the primary hull 90 degrees. It looked too top heavy. So I think that goes with some of the things that I said as well. Like for example, with this. Like from this sort of angle, I think it looks great because it looks just so huge. It looks like, because the engines are quite small relative to the saucer section, it looks like the tech is more advanced, and so you've just got this vast amount of space because you can just have that you don't need so much space for the actual technical part of it. It looks more like a skyscraper in some ways. But even though if you actually think about it, I think the length of those nacelles is about the length of the original Enterprise or something like that. And from these angles, I do quite like the way that it looks, and kind of looking over the shoulder like this also looks quite nice. But then if you kind of look at it from, I don't know, from some angles like that, it looks kind of odd a bit. Like it doesn't look as good from some of these angles, especially with the smaller nacelles. I think like that it looks a little odd because of how the nacelles are quite wide and the saucer sloping down from the top. Although I think this ship, I think the best that it's ever looked is in Star Trek Generations, with that scene where they arrive at the research outpost, and you can just see the yellow sunlight shining over the smooth curve of the saucer section as it comes into view. I think that's quite nice. So I do really like the Galaxy class. I do really like it. I do also like the design a lot, but probably because I grew up with it as well. But I think that the Constitution class design and the Excelsior class design does look better from more angles, like I said before. What do you think, Ango? It looked too top heavy. Ginormous primary hull and tiny secondary hull. Yeah, I can see that is something that might make it look a bit, might not make it look good if you think about it a certain way. But the way that I've always seen that is that, like I said before, it's so much more advanced than Kirk's Enterprise that you don't need that much space, and it makes it like for the engines and things like that, and it just makes it look so much more like a city in space with so much more living space in it. Also, Willis 1961, have you ever seen the original designs for the Ambassador class? Because the design that we saw in yesterday's Enterprise, of the Ambassador class, the Enterprise C, is actually just a model that was put together in a couple days by the team, which wasn't actually reflecting the model, the design. You can actually still, if you search for Ambassador class concept, or something like that, concept art, then you can see what the ship was supposed to look like, which is much more of a middle ground between the Galaxy class and the Excelsior class. And fun fact, you can actually see a model of that on Picard's wall in the background in season 1. Sorry. I need a bit of water. Not really found that off myself. Yeah, it depends on the angle and the field of view as well. Yeah, there we go, the prototype. Yeah, I do really quite like that design as well. Yeah, I'm not going to detail the river much back here. I'm going to go a little bit behind the curve, but basically just far enough that where you're able to see it from the town, or might be able to see it from the town. So just until there, and that's more than enough. And yes, I'm aware that I've made the river a bit wider than it is in other places. That is deliberate, because I do want you to be able to see it, and since it's in a bit of a dip as it is harder to spot, so I made it a bit wider. Do you think the same of what you had said earlier about the Galaxy class also applies to the Nebula, or is it different with that? It's different with the Nebula because the Nebula is more compact, and because of that, I think it looks better from more angles. Sup, I'm back. How's it going? It's going very well, thank you very much. How is it going with you? Just painting in the river, which I'm not putting too much detail into because there's just no reason for it at this time. Because this is you're not intended to go back here. There's just a continuation of the line so that it looks like the line's actually continuing when you're at the town, and you've got a portal back here for trains to spawn and despawn at. But you're only really going to be able to see all this stuff from over here, because you are going to go back here to run around your train. So if you're over here, looking back that way, you can't really see the river a bit, but it's there, and that's good. Now I just need to put the forest on the other side of the valley there, paint a little bit of texture in, and then that bit should be done. It's going good. I'm tired even though I woke up at 7 AM. I see. I don't know what time it is for you currently. Okay, so I've still got the forest in my clipboard, my Trainz clipboard. So let's just go ahead and put in the forest. Ah, that was a bit too much. I accidentally replaced the portal with that. Yeah, you do have to be careful with where you click when you've got the copy-paste tool in replace mode, for obvious reasons. Yeah, and then I will just have to clean up that edge a bit. It's 4:20 p.m. here in Maine. Oh, right, I see. Okay. Just clean up some of the trees first, and then I'll fix the textures after. Phineas, hello, welcome. Hello, I'm enjoying your stream as always. Good luck with developing the map. Thank you very much. Okay, I am going to leave some trees on the other side of the track, just to make it look a little bit more varied when you're viewing it at a distance. Oop, that's not what I want. No, not that many portals. Okay. Now I'll paint over the grass texture, and then I'll go back over it with a ballast. Actually, a little bit of a bigger brush might be better for this bit, at least for some of it. I'll do that bit later. I've heard of portal storms, but this is ridiculous. You have heard of what? What is a portal storm that you've heard of then? Nebula class, okay. It was more compact and reliant-ish. Yes, the Nebula class always did feel like a Miranda. It felt like what the Miranda class was to the Constitution, but of course to the galaxy. That one, Portal Storm. What is that? Huh. I see. I had not heard of that before. Yeah, I'll go back to the grass when we get to that other bit. Well, maybe not. It depends. Maybe I'll just go through it with the ballast, because it's so far away you won't really see it, and it might look nice having the ballast go through the trees like that. So yeah, I think I'm going to leave it like this. Okay. I like that the pod above the primer hull is interchangeable. Interchangeable or exchangeable? I picked a bad color to wear. It's black and it's like 74 Fahrenheit. That seems like a high temperature, but I'm not really that used to Fahrenheit, so I don't know what that translates to. If I knew what that was in Celsius, then yeah. But it does seem like it's quite hot. Black Mesa were the rivals of Aperture Science. Kango, you've been given a free ticket to talk about Portal. Go. 23.33 Celsius. Ah, I see. Yeah, then wearing black out in the sun, that is gonna create a lot of heat for you. Well, absorb a lot of heat, technically. Well, technically create is... It depends how you look at it, because if you look at the rays not actually having heat because they're not matter and thus can't vibrate, but they've got the energy in it, which then gets turned back into heat when it collides with matter, because it vibrates when it gets absorbed. Yeah, basically. Yeah, we're indeed. Learned a lot of aperture science history in the second half of Portal 2 as well. Almost done. I just want to put a bit more of this color back along here like that. Just for a little bit more variety. And I'll quickly increase the render distance a bit so you can actually see what it looks like with trees back there. That was an interesting part of the game. Yeah, I agree. Even though I do well, I know quite a bit about that, both from videos and from Kango, but I've not actually played the single player myself. So this is what it looks like with the render distance increased. Interesting. Looking back that way, it's fine, and then looking back this way. Yeah, I'm quite happy with that. Of course, I will add the patches of longer grass plants and things like that around places. It's just something that I haven't gotten around to. So basically stuff like this. Actually, you know what? Let's do that now. Now it's starting to look really nice. Thank you very much. Yeah, it's also starting to look quite finished in places. Because to finish this branch off up here, I really only need like maybe one or two baseboards up here to make this line carry on a little bit until it goes to a portal because of the runaround thing. Then maybe a little bit of finishing touches around the town, and then this entire mountainous region up here, this whole area will be finished. So then, yeah, like I said before, only need to do this little bit, and then this little bit, and then clean up a little bit of scenery around here, in this around these few baseboards. Of course, after that, I'll do a pass through the map where I add baseboards in some corners where you can see the backside of baseboards, and maybe add some lights to some of the towns and set up industries and basically do a little cleanup work. But yeah, it's actually not that far away anymore, which is both impressive, shocking, terrifying, and satisfying. Not necessarily in that order. Starting out as asbestos-laden shower curtain manufacturer back in the 40s, and then evolving into a huge science research facility, it was later on. I see. Was asbestos really used in shower curtains? I was unaware of that. I know that it was used for insulation and in building insulation as well as container insulation and things like that. But I wasn't aware that it was used in shower curtains. Although it wouldn't surprise me. I think that is a joke in the game. I see. The free community-made mod for Portal 2 called Portal Stories, Mel, also gave quite a bit more insights into Aperture's history. Like what, for example? Please do corroborate. Fun fact, around here in my hometown, if you had a bathtub or a car in the 30s or 40s, you were rich. Ah, I see. And by 30s, 40s, I'm assuming you mean 1930s or 1940s. Isn't it funny because nowadays when people are talking about like for example 30s for 40s or something like that, for example, then I mean at least it's probably a bit different with normal conversations about normal stuff. Like if somebody's talking about the 30s, they're probably talking about the 1930s. But when I'm talking about things like history or maybe railway stuff or things like that, then quite often I'm referring to the 1830s or 1840s. And so I've kind of gotten used to clarifying which of them I mean. And pretty soon, in like 10 years, well, not even 10 years, in like 8 years, you'd have to clarify if you're talking about the 1830s, 1930s, or 2030s. Which actually, now that I'm thinking about it, has come up for me as well when I'm talking about Star Trek. But, yeah. Not strictly canon, but apparently Valve did support the mod quite a bit. Aperture put asbestos into pretty much everything. Oh, I see. I test subjects perishing left, right, etc. Yeah, 1930s, 1940s. And my grandma and dad grew up in that time, and they're still alive. Well, that is good. I'm happy for you. Cave Johnson. Yes, I do know about the explosive lemons. For example, Portal Stories Mel established that Wallace Breen... Breen? Hold on. One moment. Had established that Wallace Breen, yes. Hold on. Had established that Wallace Breen, the administrator of Black Mesa, had met with Cave Johnson, who was the founder of Aperture. Ooh. Not those Breen. Ah, right, sorry. Which, by the way, if you haven't seen Star Trek Deep Space Nine, 1, I can recommend it, and 2, the Breen are from that show. Actually, I think that's probably okay there. Okay, I might actually bring in some other grass plants for these areas close by to the tracks. We'll see. They hadn't established his character in the original Half-Life yet, but Breen was the main antagonist of its sequel, Half-Life 2. I see. Oh, that guy. Yeah, doesn't look that friendly in that picture. In that, he acted as Earth's administrator. I see. That doesn't sound very good. Yeah, I'm going to use the other spline for that bit. Oops, that not from back here. Hold on, where am I? Alright, I know where I am. No, it's fine, it's fine. Yeah, I don't really want to do too much scenery work back here yet, considering that I've barely done any of the large form work here yet, in terms of the ground textures and things. Is there enough space for that to fit between here? Maybe. I'll probably use the other spline, or maybe I'll push it back a little bit. We'll see. Should probably also use this more denser grass spline over here with the embankments. Sort of like that. Maybe a little patch over here, patch over there, patch everywhere. Ish. Then I'll need to get the other texture and paint over it. Okay, maybe a little bit over here as well. Although maybe not. Actually, I like that little bit there. There we are. Let's save, and then I'll get out the other paintbrush. Well, the other texture. As it says in the fandom page, Dr. Wallace Breen was the former head of Black Mesa and later Earth's administrator under the Combine. From his headquarters on Earth in the Citadel of City 17, he was humanity's representative with the Combine. I see. I almost accidentally read that as concubine, but that's a totally different thing. What wait, did I not use that other grass texture on any of this? Huh. That's interesting, because that really is supposed to go with that grass texture. Hold on. Maybe I need to add that over here as well. Some of these areas. Yeah, a little bit like that over here. That adds a lot. Didn't really think we'd be working on this area today, but apparently we are a bit. Just little spots of paint. Some places. Not everywhere, but just in a few places. It's a bit too much, hold on. A little bit more like that. A little bit of that over here as well. Let's see how that looks with these other grass textures underneath. Actually, that does look quite nice. It does add quite a bit more depth to it, which I quite like. I'll read chat in a moment. Or a few. I don't know, I've not read chat yet. I've been talking about grass textures. Yeah, over here I'll need to definitely add some of that spline where the forest boundary is. Just a little bit like that. Okay, then over here we haven't done the scenery yet on the left. But this is the bit I actually wanted to texture. Bring that over here, bring that down there. Should probably also save at some point. Almost done. And some of the centers of some of these bits as well. Just a little bit more texture here and there. Okay. Just a tiny little bit back here. Just a tiny little bit. Just a bit there. Okay, save. Here we go. Aperture science is built on 3 pillars. Pillar 1. Science without results is just witchcraft. Pillar 2. Get results or you're fired. Pillar 3. If you suspect a coworker of being a witch, report them immediately. I cannot stress that enough. Witchcraft will not be tolerated. I see. Definitely sounds like something Cave would say. On that fandom, it also says that the Combine is an immense interdimensional empire comprised of a number of species, either as allies or as slaves. I see. What are you guys talking about? I was talking about grass. They were talking about interdimensional alien empires who have come to conquer the Earth. A bit of a disconnect there, I feel, but actually no, because we're talking about sci-fi a lot on this show, so perfectly keeping in theme. Show? Yeah, it's a show. Or wouldn't you say so? I've got episodes, I've got stuff that I'm doing, it's got a schedule, it's even on a site that has .tv as its ending, as its domain. Not domain, what's it called? The ending of the website, twitch.tv. And what's on TV? Shows. So, there you go. We've even got callers. Admittedly, only when I forgot to switch over, but still, we've had callers on here before. Gravity guns and portal guns. Oh my. Well, I'll be right back. Sure. Sure. Have fun while away. Okay, let's add the grass plants over here where the forest is. We've never actually taken a train up here. Interesting. Usually I drive around a lot while I'm building. Like I build a little bit, then I drive up and down to see what it looks like from that perspective, then I do a little bit again, then I drive again, and so on. But here on this bit we've never actually driven. Some point we'll have to rectify that. I'll read that in a moment. Actually thinking about it, I should probably also extend the grass over here and then have some of the grass spline just in the woods like that. I should probably also get some 3D bushes placed on here, because that's actually another thing that I need to do when I've completed the map feature-wise, is go back and update some of the bits of scenery, mainly in the mountainous sections where with the forest edge, where I want to put some more 3D bushes around. Does that look good like this? Perhaps I need a few more 3D bushes. Although wait, is this the dense forest or is this the less dense forest? To me that looks suspiciously like the less dense forest. Hold on. Maybe I should quickly go back and get some more dense forest, just to make sure. Yeah, I think I accidentally used the less dense forest. That would explain things. Yeah, and I can just delete some of the trees again. That should be quite easy to do. That would explain why I was able to look into the forest so much here. Just along here, then back here as well. Just sort of up to there. Quickly want to get rid of some of these trees and then I'll read to chat. Not again! No! Actually I liked it better with those trees there. But maybe just move them a little back, some of them sort of like this. Then I'll have to tend this area. Dun, 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 dun. Maybe I'll lower this tree down to the ground a bit. Move it slightly uphill like that. Yeah, now it's much better. Now you can't see, just look into the forest. Why? Well, like, just looking into the forest. No, 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 no. Maybe we'll move this tree. Well, I suppose those are already quite far back. Okay. That looks much nicer. Right, so here we go. Following the events of Half-Life, namely the Resonance Cascade as well as the ending of the game, the Combine had invaded Earth in a 7-hour war. Due to the Combine's vastly superior technology to Earth's, it ended with Earth surrendering to them. Wallace Breen had been put into the position of Earth's administrator. He's basically a puppet that tells humanity that everything's fine and that the Concubine... I told you. Nope. Combine are here to help humanity. Fun with science. Yeah, it's interesting how often I mess those two words up when reading the word. If you're interested in the details, I would recommend looking it up. My description might not be 100% accurate. That's okay. Danger of Depth. Hello, welcome. Half-Life series was fun to play, especially figuring out the puzzles using the gravity gun or zero-point energy field manipulator. Interesting that both the gravity gun and portal gun had orange and blue versions. Well, yeah, orange and blue do go together quite well. Ah, yes. I've not played any myself, because as much as I do like the world building and setting of the games, I wouldn't enjoy playing them as the overwhelming majority consists of shooting at enemies. But I have played a few maps of Half-Life 2 and Gary's mod, which in and of itself was a mod of Half-Life 2. True. But yeah, zero-point energy field manipulator is great fun to play with, he says enthusiastically. Great sound design too. Nice. Okay, so I think I'll just add some more grass lines over here, just to make this area look a little bit better. We've only got a little while left, and there's stuff that needs to be done. Isn't it funny how when you say needs to be done, that could be taken as something needs to already be finished, like something needs to be done, like it needs to be done already. Or something needs to be done as in something has to be in a state of currently being finished, of being done. Yo, what happened to the background? It's so dark. Well, nighttime in the UK. It's almost 10 p.m. here. I do have some lights over there that I could turn on, but we've only got 5 minutes left of the stream. I might put some of the smaller grass plant along here. In 2004, it was a really rare thing to have a game like that with actual physics, being able to pick up objects and throw them, etc. Yeah. A lot of puzzles involving explosive barrels too in Half-Life 2. Explosive barrels. Such a weird thing when you think about it. I mean, in video games. Where's that other spline? There it is. Let's just use the map, it's a bit faster. And again, this area will look a lot better if you're running it with shadows turned on, which for performance reasons I can't do at the moment. But you will, in all likelihood, be able to do so without any issues. So, yeah, if you can, then this area will look much better. And the whole map, in fact, will look much better, because I've had to turn shadows off completely for this. Normally when I'm not streaming, I usually have the shadows on low or on medium. And before I updated to Service Pack 5, I also had them on, I think, on low while streaming, but ever since I updated, I've had to turn them off completely, basically. While streaming, at least. Just to clarify that point, because I did mean while streaming only. So does the 0 point energy converter, does that use a black hole? Because a 0 point whatever usually, well, it reminds me of a singularity, an area crammed into basically a 0 point, an infinitely small space. Also, I think I should probably get a thumbnail as well. You know what, maybe looking down that direction. Or maybe actually from above. Actually, maybe something like that, with the render distance increased. Maybe at morning. Or maybe evening, actually. Ooh, like that? That could be nice. Maybe the fog's a little too much. Although I like the lighting like this. Let's try and see if I can get a screenshot like that. Actually, that might look really quite nice like that. Ooh. Yeah, I think that'll be my screenshot. So, zero-point energy field manipulators, dark energy field manipulators, portal guns, mobility gels, all fun to play with and solve puzzles with. Yes, energy field manipulator. Oh yes, definitely. What's your favorite game, Shardise? Well, if you count Trainz as a game, then I would say Trainz. Simply because of the world, like the building aspects of Trainz. Because the amount of time that I've spent building stuff in Trainz should speak for itself. But I'm not really sure if Trainz counts as a game. It's a simulator, it's a simulation, it's a virtual world that can be built. But I'm not sure if that technically still counts as a game. Because with a game, don't you have to have a winning condition as well? Because if you can't win at a thing, if there's no win condition or lose condition or things like that, then is it really a game? Also, doesn't it need to have rules for it to be a game or things like that? Like, so if you count Trainz, then I would say Trainz. If you don't count Trainz, then I would probably say Transport Fever 2, maybe KSP. Although I do enjoy the driving games as well, like Euro Truck Simulator 2 and things like that. But with Euro Truck Simulator 2 and games like that, like driving games, Train Simulator included in that as well. The thing with them is that I can't really play those for an extended amount of time without breaks, because I just end up feeling like I need to do something creative. Like I'm driving, and I'm concentrating on that, but it just feels a bit mindless in a way if I play those games for an extended period of time without breaks of doing other stuff. But with Transport Fever 2, for example, or KSP, I don't really have that, because that does engage your brain as well, in a creative way. So yes, if you don't count Trainz, then from a purely I'd probably say Transport Fever 2, KSP, or Train Simulator. One of those. So, of course, City Skylines is in there as well, but I've not played City Skylines in a long time, so that isn't up there, because I haven't played it in a long time, but that's also a good game. Right. You are now in possession of an Aperture Science handheld portal device. With it, you can create your own portals. Rule: brush size can't be bigger than X. I see. Wallace Breen's Breencast speech in the train station at the beginning of Half-Life 2. Welcome to City 17. You have chosen, or been chosen, to relocate to one of our finest remaining urban centers. I thought so much of City 17 that I elected to establish my administration here, in the citadel so thoughtfully provided by our benefactors. So, whether you're here to stay or on your way to parts unknown, welcome to City 17. It's safer here. Safer than a volcano? Probably yes, even if it's an active one. Probably yes, who knows. My favorite game is Fallout 76, and it's an open world game, and it has multiplayer. It's pretty fun. Well, that's interesting. The thing with Fallout is, with the series, those games, I mean, even if I look past the obvious combat focus of it, which I wouldn't enjoy, those games just feel very dreary and depressing to me, the environments. But I suppose that's the point. It's been Fallout, and now the world is recovering, and it's supposed to be like that. Doesn't mean that I have to enjoy it. But yeah, I'm glad that you're finding it fun. You're getting too philosophical on the definition of a game. Yes. Anyway, yeah, we've gone a little bit past the time, so I'll actually might as well switch over now. So yeah, the stream will be archived on YouTube. If you would like to watch it there, go right ahead. And yes, that's pretty much it. The original Star Wars Galaxies. That's all quite bleak. What do you mean? Is that your favorite game? The original Star Wars Galaxies? Is that a game? I should tell you what, I'll quickly look it up here. Oh, I see. I've never heard of that before. Anyway, yes. Thank you all very much for watching, and good night. Bye-bye. Yep, see ya. Open World Galaxy Sandbox game. Interesting. Bye-bye.